Story 1. During my period, I am experiencing diarrhea and constipation at the same time. Story 2. Girls share far more with each other than men realize. Insecurities, body concerns, and relationship details. A lot of thought goes into small things, too. Story 3. Period cramps sometimes feel like your uterus is trying to fold itself into origami. Story 4. When we cough during our period, we can feel blood clots come out, especially during a heavy flow. Feels strange but distinct. Story 5. Sometimes gas creeps forward, and we have to pass it again. Story 6. The menstrual cycle has 4 phases, and many women feel like a completely different person during each phase due to hormonal changes. Story 7. During ovulation, the cervix produces thick, slippery mucus that sometimes exits the vagina, resembling a sticky, gelatinous discharge. Story 8. Holding your breasts while entering a room means you have lost something and are trying to find it. Story 9. Sometimes, mid-conversation while making eye contact with someone, a large amount of menstrual blood may unexpectedly come out, and we have to act as if nothing is happening and continue with our day. Story 10. Visit the perimenopause subreddit. Women there discuss secrets kept from them when they were girls that are now being revealed through their current experiences. Story 11. Sometimes we get an air bubble in the couch and have to squirm to get rid of it. Story 12. I hold my breasts when I go down a flight of stairs. Am I the only one? Story 13. Female masturbation is a lot more similar to men's than you may think. We masturbate just as much as men do, and because apparently some men do not know this, we experience post-orgasm clarity too. I often see female masturbation treated as a super sexy, ethereal thing, probably because of pornography, but in reality it is just as casual and unglamorous as it is with men. There is no loud moaning, no dramatic arching off the bed, and no blushing or giggling afterward. More often it is masturbating in silence, reaching orgasm, remembering what we were just aroused by and thinking what the hell is wrong with me, bro, then cleaning up and going about our day. Of course, I am not saying every woman is like this, but it is not as glamorous or sexy as many men believe. Story 14. Generally, I believe most guys truly do not understand what enduring menstruation is like. Imagine that at age 11 you start to bleed every 26 days from your penis in an uncontrolled way. It just flows all the time and it hurts a lot. Not just blood, but large clots. It feels like a very bad cramp in your groin, and the pain lasts for days on and, you have to wear something like a diaper and put something inside to stop the bleeding, and change it up to 6 times a day. When you change it, the blood splatters on the toilet, on the floor, and sometimes even on the wall. So you end up cleaning all day. Despite it all, you sometimes wake up lying in a wet pool of blood, in pain and feeling awful. Your legs also hurt. It feels like all of your life energy is drained through your womb for 5 days. I had an iron deficiency for 15 years because I bled so much. I had syncopal episodes a few times a year and always felt tired. I would black out for a few seconds and collapse to the ground. Through it all, you have to go to school and work, and nobody cares. This can go on for up to 40 years, from about age 11 to 51. To top it off, a lot of us have premenstrual dysphoric disorder and become severely distressed a week before it starts. 10 days before my period, I become very irritable and depressed. I have lost jobs and relationships because my hormones make me very angry and depressed. Story 15. My wife just took me to a pedicure. You all have been keeping that a secret. Nice as hell. Story 16. If you go on a date with a woman and end up in bed, and you discover she is shaved only below the knee, be proud of your charm and attractiveness. She had not planned to have sex, but she chose to. Story 17. I preface comments with "this might be too much information," and then say something completely unnecessary like I just took a shit that destroyed the sacred timeline. Story 18. Depending on where I am in my cycle, I think I look different, better, or worse. All of my girlfriends have reported the same thing. There are times of the month when your face looks different than usual. Story 19. We communicate with each other through looks alone. Even women who are strangers will understand when you give them a look asking for help. Story 20. I'm not a girl. I have been married for 3 years. When someone is on their period, Blood and uterine lining that collect overnight can be released all at once when they get up, sometimes causing a sudden rush to the bathroom. Story 21. Our no-makeup look is often considerably more work than a full glam look with lipstick and bold eyeshadow. Story 22. For 2 weeks each month I experience a complete personality change and feel like I hate everyone. I am not using my menstrual period as an excuse to be mean. My hormones make my brain feel mad. Premenstrual dysphoric disorder feels like the abusive older sister of premenstrual syndrome. Story 23. If we are introverted and you remark on our quietness, it makes us feel bad. Story 24. Many of us can take off our bras without taking off our shirts. I announce it by asking, "Would you like to see my magic trick?" And then pull my bra out from under my shirt. Story 25. We are not naturally hairless. Many of us simply do regular maintenance. I remember a man being shocked at how hairy my arms were. If you do not wax, women have body hair too, just like men. Story 26. For many of us, most of our lives are spent in pain and dealing with a constant barrage of emotions due to our hormones. It sucks. Story 27. If you pass gas while wearing a thong, it splits the air, so you do not hear the sound. People pass gas more often than you think. Story 28. This may not be as fun as intended. If you yell at her, hit her, or otherwise scare her, all of her friends will know and they will never forgive you, even if she does. Story 29. Many women have reactive arousal instead of spontaneous arousal. Many of us can go without sex or arousal for a while because we have other things going on or we are not in the mood, so foreplay can and should build for hours or even days in advance. I think many of us also start initiating in more subtle ways, like sending a flirty text to my partner, or lingering a little longer in hugs and kisses. I am direct and will ask him if he is in the mood or wants to. A lot of men, especially in long-term relationships, assume that just because a woman does not appear horny all the time or does not get horny spontaneously, she will not. Our sex drives are complex and often have more brakes than accelerants. Also, many of us are reading smut all the time. My Kindle is completely full of romance and smut. There is not a single file on my Kindle that does not contain at least a little smut. Story 30. Many people have long, dark hairs on their nipples. They pluck them. Story 31. The waistband of my pants usually doesn't reach the middle of my back. There is a large gap. When I'm at work I sweat, and many times while talking with coworkers I feel a drop of sweat trickle down my back, through the gap and into my butt crack. Story 32. We take too long to send a face photo because either the angle does not look right or we simply look bad that day. Story 33. As a shy woman like you, I'm just hoping you'll have the courage to talk to me. I'm always afraid that if I talk to a man I'm interested in, I'll scare him away or make him uncomfortable. Story 34. I am 43. I started my period 2 weeks before I turned 12. I use the longest pads you can find, yet I still manage to wake up at least one morning during my period in a pool of blood. My husband sees it and says, "Ah, boo, you good? Do you need help cleaning up?" I used to be so embarrassed about it. Now it is whatever. Story 35. A good way to hack the I don't know cycle when it comes to what you are trying to eat is to ask what flavors she is interested in. This usually works for me. Edit. How the fuck are people this upset over a suggestion? Smoke a blunt and chill out. Story 36. Girls are especially sensitive in the 750 to 755 nanometer band. Note, I was laughing out loud. I was just posting nonsense and did not expect to provoke discussion. Story 37. This thread is a reminder that people assume their behavior and thoughts are universal. Story 38. Every woman who says she talks about sex in relationships very graphically, or discusses other relationship details in depth with her friends, should know that we find it strange, but it is what it is. Story 39. I work as a veterinary technician in an all-female office. They treat me like one of the girls. I'm not sure I should admit it, but here we are. They are much younger than I am. They are in their 20s and I am in my 50s. I have heard more than you can imagine. They are much more pervy and open about everything. I have heard all kinds of male locker room talk, mostly bullshit, and I can tell you it pales in comparison. Story 40. I was catcalled or hit on more often when I was 11 to 15 years old than I am now at 26. Story 41. When I have my period, passing gas pushes blood into the cleft between my buttocks and onto my labia. Story 42. If my identity becomes known, I will no longer be welcome in a woman's bed. So keep this confidential. Women defecate. Story 43. Hormones are so much more evil than guys think. We are not overreacting. If anything, we are underreacting. We still have to do everyday things even when it feels like our uterus is about to collapse. We are different every single day due to hormones, and we are going through a cycle the whole month, not just during periods. Story 44. Good hygiene, grooming, style, and confidence are more important than height, jawline, or penis size. For women of taste. Story 45. When I find a man very attractive on the street, my instinct is to try to seem disinterested or as if I had not noticed him. I don't know why I do that. Story 46. A secret many guys don't know is that sometimes girls can be turned on by the most random, subtle things, like how you smell after a shower, the way your hand rests on the small of her back, or even rolling up your sleeves. Innocent compliments or teasing can stick with us much longer than you would expect and later fuel our imagination. Story 47. Guys, we can tell when you are staring at our breasts. Most of the time we do not care or are slightly annoyed. Depending on the person, it can be extremely gross to be objectified like that. Story 48. You can be turned on in public and no one knows. Women are out here listening to full-on porn on their headphones while in line at the grocery store. Story 49. Many close girlfriends truly do not consider something to be too much information in a relationship. I have received so many breast and anal area photos from friends asking whether a rash looks normal, whether they should go to urgent care, or whether their hemorrhoids look bad. Story 50. I regularly do chores while my significant other is sexting me. My friends are the same. We support sexting, but we also have things to do. Story 51. My girlfriend once said that sometimes when she wears pants the seam rubs against her clitoris and it feels good. So she will try to get a quick rub by crossing her legs and squirming a bit. I don't know if she was joking or if she is that adventurous. Story 52. We genuinely only feel normal for about 1 week a month. Story 53. You made us die inside on the playground when you said we had cooties and you would never play with a girl. Story 54. We tuck our shirts under our breasts when it gets hot and sweaty, when we are cleaning, or when doing other tasks. Story 55. Discharge, being acidic, bleaches underwear and eventually causes holes in the fabric. Story 56. We notice when you look at our breasts, even if you only glanced for a millisecond or if we are wearing a t-shirt. Story 57. If I let it grow, I probably have more hair than you. Arm hair, pubic hair, chest hair, breast hair, and even chin hairs that are getting so thick they are almost beard quality. I am a cisgender woman, by the way. Some of us are just Sasquatches. The hairs also grow very long, including the hair on my breasts. Story 58. We are graphic with our friends about sex at the beginning of relationships. Story 59. We don't just want to be loved. We want to be respected as much as men are. Some author wrote a famous relationship book years ago claiming that women want to be loved and men want to be respected. That's complete nonsense. You can't love me if you don't respect me. Story 60. A lot of us will never experience genuine acceptance. Companies use that lack to sell us the correct way of behaving and looking, suggesting the effort we put in should give us something in return. Instead, it often only makes us angry when it does not. For example, if I want to attract a 10 out of 10 man, I am led to believe I need a body mass index of 18, fashionable clothes, and a particular way of acting to make him come over and say hello. In reality, he might respond to a 5 out of 10 woman who simply introduces herself and does not pretend to be someone else. We have false ideas forced on us all the time, and many of our emotional reactions are complexes stemming from never meeting some imaginary standard. Story 61. We lust after men as much as men lust after us, but we hide it better. Story 62. 1. If a woman really likes you, a stroke on the thigh or a kiss on the neck can be an instant panty soaker. If she is more like me, I can sit next to a guy I am really into and become instantly aroused. 2. 9.5 out of 10. If we ask a guy a question, we normally know the answer. We just want to see if you will be upfront about it. 3. If a woman is really interested in you, it usually will not cost a dime. Spending quality time and having intimate conversations will bring her joy. Those are the ones to go all out for. 4. Sometimes we text a close friend when we are stuck in a conversation with a guy. For example, if a guy is flirting with me via text, I will call my friend to get some good responses. I am not much of a talker, more of a doer. 5. All the guys we start dating have nicknames. When it becomes serious, we start using their real names. 6. Dating is really scary nowadays. Most women want to find a man they can feel safe around. Do not shun a woman if she does not want to give you her number. She has likely been through the ringer and just wants to enjoy peace in her safe space. Story 63. Playing with our nipples really doesn't feel as good as porn makes it look. Personally, I find it annoying. Story 64. I'm not a woman, but I saw a video in which a woman said men view dates differently than many women do. Many men see dates as a point system. If they do enough right, they have earned imaginary points needed for sex. According to the video, women do the opposite. They deduct imaginary points from a man based on things he says or does during the date. To be clear, if any women want to disagree, I will not argue. I just found the explanation intriguing. Story 65. Almost everything men complain about as uniquely male is either a universal problem that they think the other side does not face, or it has an equivalent that women must deal with. Examples include loneliness, difficulty finding a partner without selfish intentions, lack of attention to mental health and difficulty reaching out, or finding support and physical issues. For example, most women do not have testicles that need to be adjusted or that can be accidentally sat on, but many of us have breasts that need adjusting or can be bruised by lying on them or bumping into things. I once gave myself a large bruise on my breast when my bra caught on something. Story 66. Guys should be forced to read a thread like this at least twice a month. Women deserve health care. Story 67. Women can die from leaving a tampon in for too long. The risks increase substantially after 6 to 8 hours. Story 68. Sometimes the skin on our face peels during our monthly cycle. We usually do not tell men about this because we are very embarrassed. Story 69. I'm a man. One day I heard that a woman's gas can sometimes come from the front. Story 70. We turn into lobsters on the third Thursday of every month. Story 71. Many people are more cooperative after they have eaten, are kept warm, and get 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep. Story 72. We have different types of discharge. My ex-spouse was grossed out whenever I had it. Mind you, we had 3 children and were together for 12 years. It was not the bad kind. As a woman with a menstrual cycle, it does change a bit, especially during pregnancy. I wish men were more educated about women's bodies in that way. Story 73. This is what a pelvic exam is like. We lie on a table with someone's face between our legs while a speculum is inserted and opened. Story 74. Mansplaining is real. It is often not a genuine back-and-forth conversation. I let men talk to boost their egos and verify information elsewhere. Sometimes it is bullshit or lacks nuance. Story 75. Reading some of these comments reminds me just how close my wife and I are. Story 76. Yes. Ovulation and menstruation are closely related. They are both part of the menstrual cycle, the body's monthly preparation for potential pregnancy. Here is how they connect. Ovulation happens roughly in the middle of the cycle, around day 14 in a typical 28-day cycle. An ovary releases a mature egg that can be fertilized by sperm. Menstruation, or the period, occurs at the beginning of the cycle. It happens when the egg from the previous cycle was not fertilized. The uterus sheds its thickened lining, which had built up to potentially support a pregnancy, and this is expelled as menstrual blood. So the relationship is that ovulation is the egg release that could lead to pregnancy, and menstruation is what happens when pregnancy does not occur. The whole cycle then repeats, with the body building up the uterine lining again after menstruation, leading to the next ovulation. The timing between them is fairly consistent. If fertilization does not happen, menstruation typically occurs about 14 days after ovulation. This interval is called the luteal phase and is fairly constant, even if cycle length varies. I had to look this up. I thought they occurred at the same time for a while. Story 77, we actually like it when you talk to us. Just don't be weird or aggressive about it. Compliments are appreciated. Story 78, I was told by my female friends that when you like a guy, always laugh at his jokes whether you find them funny or not. My guy friends kill me because they say things like, she gets my sense of humor, and I laugh on the inside but I don't tell them. I think people have joked about it in some movies and television shows, so it may not be that much of a secret. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.